All right, here we go. Get ready because we're going to go. So, number one, name a radius. Okay, XV, name a diameter. ZT, name a chord. RS, can a diameter be a chord? Yes, in fact, it always is. Okay, if the circumference of a circle is 44, what is the radius? Okay, so remember, circumference equals pi times diameter, right? So here I know the circumference and I'm working backwards to find the diameter, which to get the radius from that is just half of that. So I'm just going to use this. So the circumference is 44. That equals pi times diameter. So how do I solve for the diameter? Divide by pi. So the diameter equals like 14.005 or something like that. But this is asking for the radius. So how do I find the radius from the diameter? Just cut it in half, right? So be careful for that on your test because there'll be questions like that where, you know, you've got to pay attention. Is it the radius or the diameter? So just really pay attention for that because that right there can mess you up pretty good. Because on a lot of them, it'll have the length of the diameter and the length of the radius as answer choices. So just pay attention. Okay, so if AB is 65 degrees, what is the measurement of arc DB? 115. Why is that? Okay, good. This is half a circle, so you do 180 minus 65, and that gives you 115. Okay, how big is angle ACB? 65. Central angle is the same thing as its arc. And then how big is angle BCD? 115 degrees. Okay, number 7 is asking about arc length. So this is 2 pi r times m over 360. And that gives you 6.28 meters. Okay. Number 9 says find the diameter. So here's the diameter, and this is drawn in right here. So obviously with this being a diameter, this is going to be 90 degrees because this arc over here is 180. So how am I going to find the length of that diameter? Pythagorean theorem. So 7 squared plus 24 squared equals x squared. This gives you 625 equals x squared. Take the square root. And so this equals 25. So that's the diameter. Then how do we find the circumference from that? Diameter times pi, which gives you about 78.5, whatever units. Okay, number 11 says find the measure of angle ABC. Angle ABC is an inscribed angle. And so to find angle ABC, I need to know how big this arc is right here. So how would I find the measurement of that arc?
360
Good. So 360 minus 115 minus 95. And what does that leave? 150. So how big is that angle? 75. It's half of that arc. Okay, next one, number 12. So if angle X is 116 degrees, what's angle Z? So what do I know about this inscribed quadrilateral, these opposite angles? Yep, they're supplementary. So that angle is just 64. 180 minus 116 gives you 64. Okay, number 13. All right, so this arc is congruent to this arc. And if those two arcs are congruent, then these two chords are just going to be congruent to each other. So you're going to set them equal, solve for x. 5x minus 8 equals 3x. So that gives you negative 8 equals negative 2x after you subtract 5x. Divided by negative 2, x equals 4. But this doesn't say find x. It says what's the length of KL. So we've got to plug that 4 in. And KL is 3x, so 3 times 4 is what?
12.
It's 12. Okay, number 14. This chord and this chord are congruent. They're both 18, so that means that this arc and this arc are congruent. So 4x minus 9 equals 135. Add 9, that gives you 144 divided by 4, and that gives you 36. Okay, number 15 says find the circumference. That's the exact same thing as that right there, so I'm not going to do another one. Okay, number 16, it says in circle C, the diameter is 34. So let's talk about that real quick. If the diameter is 34, how long is the radius? It's 17, and we'll use that in just a second. But let's finish the rest of this. So it says MN is 16. So if MN is 16, how long is MP? Is 8. And it wants us to find the length of CP right here. So this is what we're looking for. Now going back to what we said a second ago, the radius is 17, right? So if I just conveniently draw a radius from here to here, how long is that line? 17. So how can I find the length of this side over here now? Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus 8 squared equals 17 squared. And if you work that out, you get that x equals 15. Okay, on the back. Okay, number 17, you've got to take several little steps here. So ultimately it says, what's the measurement of arc SR? So arc SR is right here. So to find arc SR, what angle do I need to know? P. I need to know angle P. But what's keeping me from knowing how big angle P is? I don't know what X is. So somehow I've got to find what X is. Okay? So how big is angle S? This is 90 degrees, right? Then what do I know about angle P, angle R, and angle S? The three angles of a triangle add up to 180, so 3x plus 1 plus 7x minus 1 plus 90 equals 180. And then just combine like terms and solve, so we get 10x, and then 1, negative 1, and 90 make what? 90 equals 180. Subtract 90 from both sides. 10x equals 90, which means x equals 9. Okay, so now I know what x is, so I can plug that in to find angle P. So 3 times 9 plus 1 is what? 28. Is 28. And now again, the ultimate goal here is I want to know how big arc SR is, so what do I do from there? Multiply this by 2 to find that. So 28 times 2 is 56 degrees. Okay, number 18 says find the measurement of arc GH. And it's basic, well, it's not the same thing, but you got to take several steps like we did on that last one. Okay, so what do I know about this angle and this angle right here? They're congruent because they open to the same arc. So x plus 42 equals 3x. Subtract x from both sides. 42 equals 2x, which means x equals 21. If I take that 21 and plug it in right here, what's 3 times 21? 63. I'm still not quite there because 63 is the measurement of angle F. I want to know the measurement of arc GH. So 63 times 2 gives me what? 126. Gives me 126. Okay, number 19 says, what's the measurement of arc NQ? So, I mean, we could do that two different ways. Let's find the measurement of this little angle right here real quick. How would I find the measurement of that angle? 180 minus 90 minus 55. So what does that give us? 35. Gives us 35. This is 90. So now to find arc NQ, I'm just going to add those two pieces together. 125. So 35 plus 90, and that tells me that's 125 degrees. Okay, on this one, so I want to know the measurement of each one. We're not going to do all of them, just one of them, but this one right here is 40% of the circle. I want to know how many degrees that is. So it's 40% of the whole thing. How am I going to find the number of degrees there? 360 times 0.40, because I want to know what's 40% of 360. And if you multiply that, you get 144 degrees. And same process for the rest of those. I'm not going to go through that. Okay, number 21 says find x and y. So x degrees is talking about this angle right here. So this arc right here, so that angle where y is, how does that angle relate to that whole arc right there? It's half of it. So how big is this whole arc right here? It's 225, just putting those two together. So that angle with the y is half of 225. So what does that equal? 112.5. Okay, now the next thing is to find x, which is this. Let me do it like this angle right here. Okay, so to find that angle, I need to know this arc, which I know, but I also need to know this arc, which I don't know right now. How could I find that arc, though? Yeah, so 360 minus 105 minus 120 minus 85, and whatever's left is the measurement of that arc, because it has to add up to 360. So 105, 120, 85, and what add up to 360? 50. So now to find that angle where the x is, I'm going to do 50 plus 120 divided by 2. 85. And that gives you 85. Okay, told you to skip that. Number 23. All right, so how are we going to set this one up? Okay, x plus 7 times 7 equals, good, 6 plus 4. The whole thing, how long, just 6 plus 4 is what? 10. So 10 times 6. Okay, so when we distribute this 7, we're going to have 7x plus 49 equals 60. Subtract 49, 7x equals 11, divide by 7, and you're going to get a decimal like 1.57. Okay, so should be good there. Okay, number 25. How would we set this one up? Good. So 6 squared equals x plus 4 times 4. The tangent piece squared equals the whole thing times the outside. So you get 36 equals 4x plus 16. Subtract 16 from both sides. 20 equals 4x, which means x equals 5. Okay, we talked about that basically, talked about that. Okay, let's look at number 28. So let's set this one up. How long is this whole piece right here? Yeah, x plus 4 plus 8, which is just x plus 12, times how long is the outside piece? 8, equal to how long is this whole thing? 2x plus x, which is just 3x, times how long is the outside piece? X. So we're going to distribute here. We're going to get 8x plus 96 equals 3x squared. Am I going to be able to get rid of that x squared here? No. So what I'm going to do is move them all to the same side. So I'm just going to go ahead and move the other. So I'm going to have 3x squared minus 8x minus 96 equal to 0. And so remember what you're going to do on this is you're going to graph it and look for the place where it crosses the x, okay? Okay, look for the place where it crosses the x-axis. So, x squared sorry. Where does that cross? Crosses at 14.6. Okay, so your test is going to be tomorrow. I would study a little bit if I were you. And also remember that